Okay, my name is Wilbright. I'm from Tanzania Wildlife Management Authority, known as TAWA, from the Directorate of Protection of Wildlife Service, under the unit. I'm heading the unit of Problem Animal Control. TAWA is a newly established wildlife agency under the Department of Wildlife in the Ministry of Natural Resources and Tourism, where this TAWA came in and started implementing its duty in July 2016. And one of the functions of TAWA is also the management of human-wildlife conflict. So today I'm going to talk a bit about the human-wildlife conflict, how we manage, where you can find for the century, humans have been interacting with wildlife either positively or negatively, where you can find that in the negative interaction you have human-wildlife conflict. And the human-wildlife conflict is one of the growing challenges which facing the conservation initiative here in Tanzania and other countries as well, as we have heard from the presenter from Kenya and Uganda and elsewhere, where you have wildlife and human interaction. And the incidence of human-wildlife conflict, you can find they are highly pronounced in area where you have human activities overlapping with wildlife, especially in the area where you have this wildlife corridor at the dispersal areas and along the buffer zone. And you can find human-wildlife conflict does not only affect the livelihood of people, but also the conservation initiative. So the management of human-wildlife conflict in Tanzania is, you can find you have different group of stakeholders, where you have the stakeholder which fall under the government, where you have the government agencies take part in the management of the conflict, where you have wildlife division and the agencies which are involved in management of wildlife protected area, where you have TAWA, TANAPA, and the Ngorongoro Conservation Area. TANAPA is Tanzania National Park Authority, which is involved in management of national park. But TAWA, we take part in management of game reserve, game controlled area, and wetland reserves. And the Ngorongoro Conservation Area Authority is only the Ngorongoro area where you have multiple land use at Ngorongoro. But also, we also, under the government agency, we have TAWIRI, which take part in researching a lot of human-wildlife conflict issues. And also, the local government. You can find in every district, you have wildlife staff. You have wildlife officer and wardens. But you can find most of this district, they don't have this staff, but they are supposed to have the staff, and their main duty is to work on the management of human-wildlife conflict. Again, in another group you have at the lower level, you have the villagers and village game scouts. With some of the initiative from the Wildlife Authority, sometimes you can find they are implemented by the village. For example, chili-based, and even beehive fence. You must involve this community so as to have sustainability in management of human-wildlife conflict. And another group, you have non-governmental organization, where you have WildAid, WWF, and WCS. You have had presentation from them, and the STEP, and we have just signed the MOU to work on the human-wildlife conflict with STEP. And also, we also have research centers like Carnival, also the research center at Ngorongoro, where they are researching a lot in the management of human-wildlife conflict. Also, private researchers have been working a lot on the human-wildlife conflict so as to ensure that we have coexistence and we safeguard the livelihood and conservation of wildlife. And we have two groups. We have divided them into two groups of human-wildlife conflict, where we have direct human-wildlife conflict and indirect. We have spelling error there, the type of human-wildlife conflict, but no. In the first group, we have experienced the people being attacked by wildlife, and some have lost their life and injured by dangerous animal. And again, you can find wildlife have been killed in retaliation of the damage which caused by the wildlife. For example, last year we had an incidence of spotted hyena where 15 of them were killed in just 1 month at Geita district by local people together. Yeah, because in retaliation of the killing of one person, and one person was also injured in that incident. But in the recent past, we have heard of this incident at around Ruaha National Park, where 6 lions were killed in retaliation for the cattle which was also killed by lion. And in that incident, even the vulture, around I think 75 vulture were also found dead in the scene. So you can find how this one is very deterrent, is not good to the conservation of wildlife. And in another group, we have destruction of human property, and where you have livestock depredation and crop raiding, which caused by the problematic animals. And some people in the local area, they fail to access their social services in fear of the presence of dangerous animals. And also people, most of the area are encroached, so you can find the destruction of wildlife habitat is one of the growing challenge we are facing now. In Tanzania, you can find most of the protected area encroached by the human activities, like you can see the group of livestock which was found in one of the protected area in Tanzania. And on the left there you can see the elephants which were found in the water hole which was made by the local people to get water for their livestock and their domestic use, and they failed to move out of the pit. And that incident happened last year, I think it was in June at Itigi district. So we had to use the bulldozer to create a slope so that they could move out of the hole, of that water hole. And of course, the magnitude of the problem here in Tanzania, it's even, because it's a growing challenge, it's even recognized by the Wildlife Conservation Act, number 5 of 2009. And even you can find we have regulation for consolation scheme for the damage which is caused by the dangerous animal listed in the law, in the act. So the consolation scheme is only for the damage caused by the 7 animals, which is we have elephant, hippo, buffalo. We even have rhino, but we have never experienced rhino. So it's just 6 among the 7. And for other animals, we have lion, hyena, and crocodiles. But among the dangerous animals listed in the law, 4 have been highly involved in the incidents of human-wildlife conflict, which are elephant, hyena, crocodile, and lions. And the records, since establishment of TAWA, our records from July 2016, we have tried to compare the data of July to December in the same period in 2016, and we found that the incidents which were recorded by TAWA station were found to go down, but the damage caused in those incidents were higher. So you can find the loss of human life, the number of people injured, the livestock killed, and the problem animal also which were killed in defense of human life and property appeared to increase. But the number of incidents were recorded to go low, to go down. The increase of human-wildlife conflict, it is associated with the growing population here in our country. Now you can find the population increase is at the rate of 4% in a year. So you can find also the pressure in the wildlife of human activity in the area which are preferred by the wildlife is also increasing, especially in the area where we have a wildlife corridor, buffer zone, and dispersal area, like those elephants which were found in the, where it was, the area is close to the dispersal area, Itigi thicket. So those areas you can find now you have pressure of human activity in the area. And climatic change is also one of the factors which is a driver of human-wildlife conflict. Because sometimes we have heard of, like, we can take example of, I don't know if we can associate it with the climate change, because now we have Ruaha River flowing not throughout the year. So you can find sometimes the wildlife are forced to move out of the park in searching of water. And in that incidence, you can find they intensify the human-wildlife conflict. And for example, in one example of this interaction, you can find 6 people were killed by wildlife animal, especially elephant, in the wildlife corridor, Selu Niassa wildlife corridor, which is still in the active wildlife corridor. But the pressure of human activity is very high. And TAWA has been used different approach in management of human-wildlife conflict in collaboration with different stakeholders. We have been conducting patrols in the area which are affected by the problematic animal and raising awareness on human-wildlife conflict mitigation and facilitating the establishment of community-based organization so as to deal with the human-wildlife conflict. And also, we normally contribute fund for the payment of consolation claims in every year. In the patrol, you can find we have been used different technique, like disturbance shooting, and sometimes, for the last resort, sometimes we have been opted to kill the wildlife animal in defense of human life. And but in the past recent, we have tried to even apply the method of capture and translocating this problematic animal. We have done one, we translocated 2 hyena from the compound of Prime Minister's Dodoma to Swaga Swaga Game Reserve. Even though it was very challenging to capture hyena because they are very tricky. We had to use the snare so as to capture them. Because we failed to use the trap, because they cannot get in the trap and attracted to the bait. They are very clever. And the trend of patrol indicates that the incidence of human-wildlife conflict is highly intensive during the wet season, where you can find even the patrol conducted during the wet season is very intensive compared to the dry season. This is the, as you can see there, in January and June last year, the incidence of human-wildlife conflict was very high, and even the patrolman days conducted was also higher. We also raising awareness, as I said, on how to avoid the damage caused by the human-wildlife conflict. For the moment, we have 80 groups across the 8 zones in our country, which are tasked with awareness-raising campaign to the local community, especially in areas which are affected by the conflict. Where you can see, currently we have already sensitized at Mwanga, which is close to Mkomazi Game Reserve, and it's Tsavo National Park, where you have the incidence of human-wildlife conflict is high, and the Tunduru district, which is along the Selous-Niassa wildlife corridor, and also Iringa, which is also fall in the wildlife corridor, which connected Ruaha National Park and Udzungwa or Mikumi National Park. And again, along the lake, in the lake zone, we have Geita and Buchosa, where you have the high incidence of crocodile, human crocodile conflict, and even human hyena conflict in that area. And we're expecting to move to other area, like in Ruvuma, where we have high incidence of human crocodile conflict. And TAWA has also facilitating the establishment of this community-based organization in collaboration with the Community-Based Conservation Training Center at Likuyu Sekamaganga. We have already prepared the training program, and we have started with 25 villagers from Tunduru district, and which was facilitated by TAWA. And that area, of course, because it's along the corridor, and the trained villagers are expected to initiate the community-based organization, because they had an opportunity to learn on how to establish the organization, which are normally registered at the district level, and they were also trained on the different community-based mitigation measures like chili-based, beehive fence, and others. So we are expecting them to initiate the community-based organization in collaboration. We are expecting to collaborate with PALMS Foundation. They have already presented here yesterday under their program. And also WWF, I think they will also support the trend to initiate the community-based organization, because with that community-based organization, they will be able also to have income-generating projects. At the same time, they will be dealing with the problem animal control. And in the consolation scheme, as I said, we normally contribute every year for all wildlife management agency like TAWA, TANAPA, Ngorongoro. We normally contribute to the payment of the consolation scheme, and because the government recognizes damage caused by the wildlife animal, but it is difficult to compensate for us. So we have the so-called consolation scheme, not compensation scheme, because the amount which is paid is not really in a compensation. You will see, I will show you the table of the scheme. So we normally allocate a certain amount every year for the payment of the consolation scheme, for the consolation claims. Like in this financial year, we have allocated 100 million for the payment of consolation scheme. And I think even TANAPA and Ngorongoro, they will also contribute to the payment. So this is how the payment is being done, based on the damage caused by those 7 dangerous animals listed in the Act, where you can see the loss of human life. The family is paid only 1 million, which is equivalent, I think, to $450 US. And the one who has been attacked and get a permanent disability, they normally get paid 500 Tanzanian shillings. And if you are just injured temporarily, you get only 200. But for the payment of crop raiding, it is normally paid based on the distance from the protected area, but to the maximum of 5 acres destroyed by the dangerous animal listed in the Act. Where you can find the 500 meters from the boundary of protected area is recognized as the buffer zone. So no payment is paid for the destruction of vegetation in that area. But from 500 meter to 1 kilometer is 25 T shillings per 25,000 T shillings per acre, but to the maximum of 5 acres. And from 1 kilometer, above 1 kilometer to 4 kilometer is 50,000 T shillings, and above 4 kilometer to 5 kilometer is 75, and above 5 kilometer is 100,000 shillings. But for the death of cattle, the owner is paid 50,000 per cattle, and the death of sheep, goats, pig, and mule is only 25,000, and the death of other domestic animal like chicken, dogs, I think, it's fall under 10,000 shillings per animal. So TAWA is also supporting the research and encourage experts to conduct research on the aspect of human-wildlife conflict. Like even last year, one research was supported by TAWA. I think the experts from TAWA were conducted a research just to research on the upsurge of human-elephant conflict in different areas. And the finding from that research, we're expecting to, maybe they will contribute, have much contribution in the management of human-wildlife conflict. And also, in this financial year, we have even allocated the budget for the survey of crocodile, just a small amount, I think, which will be disbursed to Tawiri, because we are expecting them to get the finding on whether to reduce the number of crocodile, especially in the area where we have this crocodile human conflict, is in southern parts of Tanzania along the lake zone, and maybe they will give us way forward, because with Tanzania, with TAWA, we have consumptive utilization of wildlife. We can allocate a quota in those areas, so as to reduce the population, and at the same time earning money from that. The scope of effective human-wildlife conflict is far higher than what a single institution can afford to manage. So that means it's called the involvement of different stakeholders, as I said, for the management of the conflict, so as to have coexistence and safeguard the livelihood and conservation initiative. Otherwise, I should say thank you very much. Asante sana.